So what I've done now is I've taken what I did in the last session and I've included it in my main program. So I'm going to go F5 and you can now see so you can see I've got my bus A data, so there are 20 values there. And if I keep going with this, so can you see I've got that's my bus B list. Now, what I will say is it gets very irritating having to do it for all those days. So I am going to go File, Save As, and I'm now going to call this V2. So I know I've got that much working. It's exactly as I want it. So I'm going to go V2 and I can now play around with this. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take off 2 of the days. And for each, so that's, I'm not going to do 4 weeks. I'm just going to do 2 weeks. So I've got to go 1, 2. That's going to do 1 and 2, and it goes up 2, but does not include 3. So we can change that to 3, this to 3, and this to 3. So now for each week, it'll do 3 days, and it will do it 3 times. So we should have 9 times per vehicle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's just 6 values that I have. Sorry, yes, of course. I've done it twice, so it's 2 by 3 days. Right, now we're ready to move on to the next activity. So the number of late arrivals for each bus route. Okay, the number of late arrivals for each bus route. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go down here. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller so you can see the full screen. And we know here that late arrival means that it is a minus number. So we've got to count all of our minus numbers. So here we would come up with 4 minus numbers. A minus number is less than 0. So for I in, and if you remember, bus A is the list with all the numbers. Oops. For I in bus A, remember if we just printed I, it would print the first time, the second time, the third time, etc. If I is left hand less than, if I is less than 0, we're going to count that. Now, if we want to count something, we obviously have to have a variable. So lates or late count equals 0. So we've got this makes our variable. So in class, I talk about this as being our jar. So our jar, we're setting it to 0. If the bus is late, we are going to say late count equals late count. So late count is going to be equal to whatever's already in the jar plus 1. And what we'll do to test this, print bus A late count. And we need to do late count A, late count A, late count A, because obviously we're going to have more than one bus. Now, unfortunately, every time we do have to put our values. So let's put 3 late counts in there. -1, -1, -1. Oh, sorry guys, I just forgot whether I'd pressed a number or not. F5. 1, 2, 3. If I just pull this down a little bit, you can see bus A late count is 3, and that's correct. That's how many we put in. Okay, so that's how we count the lates. Obviously, you are going to copy and paste this, and you're going to do it for B and C as well, changing all the values.